The hematologist's red list. The last time I stepped through the creaking threshold of my childhood home, it was under the weight of mockery and shame. My family had gathered that night, laughter spilling through the cracks of the old Victorian facade like poison. "You'll disgrace us," they said. "You're chasing shadows, delusion dressed as ambition." I left in a storm of tears and fury, my heart tangled in the barbed wires of their disbelief. Now, years later, I stood before that same door, their laughter echoing in my ears, but this time I was no longer the pathetic dreamer they had dismissed. I was their nightmare returned. When I first delved into the realm of forbidden blood pathology, my colleagues had ridiculed me just as fiercely. A hematologist turned mad scientist, they said. I had falsified blood work, my career reduced to ash over a mistake born from desperation, from the haunting specter of a patient's tragic end. But beneath their scorn, my obsession grew, a dark seed sprouting in the fertile soil of my disgrace. I pursued the impossible, the grotesque, the truth that lay beneath layers of myth, a lineage of blood that replenished itself, a parasitic sacrifice hidden in the shadows of medical history. Each night I spent alone in the sterile confines of my makeshift lab, the walls closing in around me as I sifted through what others refused to acknowledge. I cataloged strange cases, each one more grotesque than the last. I observed the unexplainable blood that defied the very laws of biology, claiming lives and leaving behind only whispers of its victims. I had become an expert in the kind of horrors that sent shivers down the spines of those who dared to look. Now, as I stood before my family, I carried the weight of those discoveries like a crown of thorns. The eerie glow of the setting sun cast long shadows across their faces, their expressions a mixture of disbelief and dread. I could see the flicker of recognition in their eyes. They had heard the whispers that swirled around my name, the acclaim I had earned for exposing the hidden horrors that dwelled beneath the world's surface. They were no longer laughing. "Welcome back," my mother said, her voice trembling. The warmth of her words felt cold against the chill that wrapped around me like a shroud. I stepped inside, the air thick with an unshakable tension. I could sense their curiosity, their fear, and it twisted something inside me. I was both their prodigal child and the specter of their worst fears. "Do you still think I'm crazy?" I asked, my voice sharp as glass. The question hung in the air, heavy and unyielding. They didn't answer immediately, and in that silence, I felt the world shift beneath our feet. "Why did you really come back?" My father's voice was strained, almost pleading. "To prove us wrong? To gloat?" I took a breath, letting the tension coil around my heart like a viper. "I'm here to show you." They exchanged wary glances as I reached into my bag, pulling out vials containing the very blood that had become synonymous with my name. The liquid inside pulsated with an unnatural glow, a sickly hue that seemed to breathe in the light. "This," I said, "is the result of years spent unraveling the fabric of what you deemed a delusion." My family recoiled from the sight, but I pressed on. "This blood is alive, a remnant of an ancient curse. It possesses properties that defy understanding, and it hungers." "What do you mean, it hungers?" My sister's voice quivered as she took a cautious step back. "Those who mock it are often the first to feel its bite. I've seen it happen," I said, feeling the thrill of vindication coursing through me. The world wants to ignore this, but I can no longer turn away. The room felt colder, shadows flickering in the corners as if the very walls had ears. I continued, "You didn't believe me then, but now, the truth is coming for you." They laughed nervously, dismissing my words as the ramblings of a once shamed scholar. But I could see the doubt creeping in, the fear that wrapped around their spines like ice. The atmosphere grew thick, suffocating, as I raised the vials in front of them. I didn't come here to gloat. I came to protect you. It was then that the shadows deepened, swirling around us, and I felt the air shift. The blood within the vials began to pulse, as if resonating with the dark energy that filled the room. My family's laughter faltered as they witnessed the impossible. The shimmering liquid transformed, writhing like a creature desperate to break free. "What is happening?" my mother whispered. Her face drained of color. "Your disbelief has made you vulnerable," I said, feeling the surge of power within me. "And now you will bear witness to what you mocked." The shadows converged, coalescing into forms that twisted and contorted, their grotesque features reflecting the horrors I had faced. The figures emerged, embodying the very dread I had studied for years. Once mere whispers in the dark, now tangible and grotesque. They reached out, their hands clawing toward my family, who staggered back in terror. "Please, no, we were wrong," my father cried out, his bravado shattered like glass. "Too late," I whispered, a bittersweet satisfaction curling within me. "You've always been afraid of what you didn't understand. Now you'll know." As the figures closed in, I felt a strange sense of release wash over me. They would finally understand the cost of their ridicule, the weight of their disbelief. I had survived the darkness. I had unraveled its secrets. Their screams echoed, mingling with the laughter of shadows as the truth flooded the room, a tidal wave of horror that would forever mark them. And as I stepped back into the shadows, I realized that I, too, had become a part of this macabre tale. The bloodline of my obsession now ran thick with the weight of their fear, binding us together in a moment that would haunt us all. The door creaked shut behind me as I left. I was no longer the disgraced child who had fled. I was a harbinger of dark truths, a reminder that some horrors are best not ignored. The night swallowed me whole, and with it the laughter of my family, forever changed by what they had once dismissed.